I'm going to shut off this. I'm just going to shut off this wonderful phone of mine.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
keep mine
so
on mute.
yeah, you know what it is, man. I didn't press it on mute before, and it kept going off during this other interview. Okay, we're good.
Right on. Um, when does the book actually come out? I just got the PDF galley edition.
We come. Well, I say we. It comes out on October 12th, and let me tell you, I can be honest. I've never done this before. It's different than a record, but it's the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's because it's. I guess with this thing, I've never written a book, never done anything like this. Um, to have it come out October 12th, and we're going right into August now. I kind of went all out on this thing. Like imagine bringing your life growing up and stuff, whatever you went through in your life. I put it all out there, and sometimes when I was reading through the book, I said, "Man, did I put too much in here? Did I really?" I mean, it's you feel kind of naked. It's
Right.
raw. It's raw, and to be honest with you, dude, it was sometimes it was I can't read some of the chapters in it. I can't. It's just like even when we were writing it together, Joel McIver and I, it was pretty painful. Some of the stuff with my brother and all that stuff, like the hardships of growing up, no monies, all that stuff.
Right.
After abandonment, all that good stuff. All that good stuff. I
All
say
that
it
good stuff.
facetiously. I say it. I say it like that because I kind of have to put it into my mind, like, all right, it's a better place now, and I guess the reason why I wanted to do this because I'm feeling there's a lot of people out there that are hurting,
Right.
and I guess I'm at the age now where I have a son. I want to pass it on. I want to pass on good vibes to people, and just if you're in a shit position in life, I just want to let you know that there's a way to brush yourself off and move on with your life. And I guess that's where I'm at in my life right now because, look, nobody's got an easy path in life. I don't consider mine the worst, not the best either. But if I can, help one person that's gone through abandonment, poverty, all that stuff that people go through, then the book does its job for me.
You and Joey seem like the private people in Anthrax, like more private than the other three. So
Yeah.
I when I saw the book was coming out, I was like, well, this could be interesting because I really don't know that much about you.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, and you know what, dude? To be honest, I I'm a very family private person. I'm all about family. My family is everything. I don't care about the rest of the world. I love music, but it's not my family. All that stuff. But for me, I don't want to be on social media every 2 minutes and all that stuff. It's
Right.
not for me. And whoever wants to is cool. I'm learning that I have to do it because I have a book coming out. I get it,
Yeah.
and it's good to promote and all that stuff. But I don't want to have to live on it. But I want to keep in touch. I think it's cool to connect. I like connecting with people, so I'm learning. I'm not very good at it at all, and obviously the people watching this, they would know I'm not very good at it.
Get your son
Um,
to do it for you.
I'm asking I'm asking my 15-year-old son how to do it. So
Right. That's exactly what you do.
so that's I'm learning how to because I like connecting. I like talking to people. I like connecting with fans, friends, all that good stuff. And because I'm so family and introverted, kind of in my cocoon. I'm in my cocoon right now.
Yeah.
This is it, my basement. I call it Bello's basement because during COVID, this is where I've written. I wrote the book, writing music here. I've done videos here. Pretty much everything in this space right here. So it's I hate to say it, but it's comfortable now.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, I don't want to be. I don't want it to be comfortable because that means you don't go out. And
Yeah.
I'm used to touring, being on the road for months, and this became that,
Right.
and believe me, dude, I can't wait till we can get back to life. Everybody. So
You've been on stage now. Like you've done a show in public. Like that's how did that feel?
Wisconsin, we did it a couple of weeks ago, and I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, I had butterflies, and I've been doing it a while, right? I've been doing it a while, and I noticed maybe all within the band. I think we just because we haven't done it in so long. Yeah, we did this live stream, which went great, and that was fun. But that was controlled. That was in controlled environment. With this live show, it was like, all right, get out there. It kind of it kind of was. I just step into it again, and yeah, you can. I've been on my exercise bike and getting my fat ass in shape and all that stuff and all that yoga. I don't think it gets you ready for that. But it was an amazing experience. So it was about 110 degrees. It felt like on stage because the sun was blaring on us. But
Yeah.
it was an incredible experience to be back on and just connect with people, connect with fans, because that's what this is all about, man.
Yeah.
Connecting and people feeling good again. Music makes you feel good. Let's face it. That's why you and I love music.
Yeah.
It's time to feel good again, and not to sound like the angel here, but I'm just I'm tired of feeling like shit. To be
Yeah.
honest, you know.
And I'm tired of feeling guilty about everything that I want to do. And it's like, oh, no, you can't do that yet. You can't go into this building yet or whatever. I'm like, I'm double
I know.
vaxxed. I'm ready, man. I want to go out
Yeah.
and do something.
Yeah, I want it to be good. Look,
Yeah.
I listen to my doctor, of course, but I'm a family guy, so I'm going to be really extra careful. It's
Yeah.
the way to be. For me, that's to each his own, but for me, that's the way I am. But I want to play, man. It's everybody, all the friends and bands, they're all biting at the bit, man, to get
Yeah.
going. We all can. The fans, just I went to a Foo Fighters concert a few weeks ago. That was awesome at the Garden. Everybody had a great vibe in that thing. It's just it rock and roll. It's ready. It's
Yeah.
ready. It's just as soon as everybody gets together on this, we can move on, right?
Nice.
And hopefully it gets better for everybody. You know.
Nice. Now, your book starts off with you describing being bullied as a young boy.
Yeah.
And I can relate. I was bullied myself, and I think it was just more prominent and more physical in the 70s and in the early 80s. Now
Yeah.
it's cyberbullying and it's, being poked online and stuff, but it's certainly still there.
It is. It is. And you know what's concerning to me? I have a 15-year-old boy, which we talked about already. I worry about that every day. Last year, he was in the house all year for school because
Yeah.
our high school here was really they had so many cases I didn't of COVID going. I had 3 to 4 emails a day about new cases, so there was too much for me to be comfortable with. And this is
Right.
before he got the shots. So I had him home the whole year learning via computer. And they did it, and it was great. He did great in all his tests. He had great grades. Blah blah blah. But this year he's going, so I worry about it. What's next? We all do. We all should because it's got to get better.
Yeah.
It's got to get better. So you know, I have a 15-year-old boy, and I worry when he's going to school this year. Bullying. What's going to happen? Is it happening now? Hopefully, it's gotten cooler and all that stuff, but he's going back into a whole new thing right now. So I worry about that. I got beat up, man. I got beat up. After my dad took off, we had to move to a lower income kind of community.
Right.
And to be honest, I walked to school. It wasn't that far from my house, so I walked to school, and every day the only path through was right through where these two dudes hung out, and this one specific dude. They just kicked the shit out of me every day, and
Yeah.
I say every day because I try to even be late so they wouldn't be there. And this is how much it scars. After years of therapy and all this good stuff, um, I tried to get different routes. There was no other routes. They were there. They were always there, and it always turned into I call it the morning beating. I was
Yeah.
beaten under the car, man. And I say it in the book. I don't want anybody to go through that, and that built my character. I believe that built because I did go to the karate classes. Karate classes did nothing for me because these guys were doubling up on me, and the main dude was just bigger. He just pounced on me. He didn't
Yeah.
care until I safely hid under the like where the muffler is on the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my safe spot, and I knew that was my go-to. As soon as I saw them, I said, "I'm just going to dive under that car." I know it sounds horrible to hear this, because I don't want anybody to go through this, but it happens.
Yeah.
So going through the book, and so when I hear the word bullying, it pisses me off,
Yeah.
right? 'Cause I relate to it as you do. I just won't tolerate it. I go up to I'll go up to the bully and try to stop it. It's just the
Yeah.
way I am now. So part of
And not
life.
only did it shape your character, it steered your life. Like it steered you to your grandmother's place and it steered you to Charlie. And I mean, if these bullies knew, because they're on it to be superior and to belittle, if they knew that they steered you to your life path,
Yeah.
they screwed that up.
Great point. And I thought about this also. Yes, it steered me this route, right? To the route of music and my grandmother lovingly, all that good stuff with Charlie and all that stuff and living in that house. Did it have to be so brutal?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Did it have to be so many? I get it, but my question is for fate or whatever you want to call it, as it works. Did it have to be so brutal that I had to get like literally every day my ass kicked and scraped up to go into school? So when I went into school, I was all cut up and freaking
yeah,
head out, all that stuff. So did it have to be like that? And at the end of the day, maybe it did, but because it made me grow into whoever I am now, and it
yeah.
makes me a little bit smarter, and I can pass it on to people and telling them how to stay away from that stuff. So for me, I found different ways to do it. I found you acknowledge what it is and you adapt to it. All that stuff in my youth made me learn how to adapt to things
Right.
and get around things. Maybe it's street smart. You want to call it street smart? Fine. It made me learn how to adapt to life and move on. And going into my grandmother's house, learning music with Charlie, and growing up in that house full of music and love, that was the godsend. It was my oasis. It really was. The house in the Bronx, my grandmother's house, was my oasis, and it was my saving grace. Because there's no way I would have made it. There's
Nice.
no way. I know that. You know.
You spend a few pages describing Kiss Alive One and what an impact that had on you as a young boy.
Yeah.
First thing on that is a live album. Does a live album impact anybody like it did then, now? Like, what is it? What's a good live album right now?
Well, what impacts people now?
Right,
Because it's here
right.
today, gone. It's here today, gone today, right? That's why you have to keep constantly coming out with more stuff. But it did. That was the first album I saw. It was just happened. Charlie had the album in front of me, and he opened it up, and I still remember it. As I'm talking to you, I can see it. I could
Yeah,
visualize it right now. Him opening it up, and me just being. It was tunnel vision, dude.
yeah,
Oh my God! It was all everything I wanted to look forward to. I just knew it. And then when he put the record on, guess, and I could still remember this stuff,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
And you hear it, and it builds to this thing, and all of a sudden the songs, and I just thought they were great songs right off the bat. I said, "This who's singing?" I just tried to pick out because I didn't know who sang and who did what. Um, it was just a wonderful time. Those were my soup. It was like opening a comic book and
yeah.
really having new heroes and somebody to look up to. And again, the book goes into this. These guys, you want to call them maybe father figures. These are my heroes. That somebody, when there's nobody taking that place in the father department, you kind of look for those people to
Yeah. Replace.
stand up for you and
Yeah,
stand up and be. You want to be like somebody, and you want to emulate. And who could I learn from? I learned from Kiss. I
yeah.
did.
And Simmons could have been such a dick to you, when you were like going up to him and following him around like a total fanboy, and he was not. And
Oh,
that's
Gene, I'll
wild.
tell you, Gene from day one, all the guys in Kiss were great to us. I mean, when I tell those stories in the book about us meeting Kiss, and for those of you guys watching this, there's a lot of stories in the book where I live in New York, and when we were younger, a friend of mine, Tom, he would call me up and say, "Look, I know where their management is. Kiss is going to have a meeting today. Well, I didn't know what time. We're going to so we would take the bus downtown and wait in front of the management building all day. It could be freezing 13 degrees outside. We were outside shivering like this. It's going to happen. It's going to happen for hours, for hours. And then out of nowhere, you see a couple of guys 6 foot and above, 6'2", with long hair, with suits on, coming into this building. You got to. We didn't even know what they looked like because they still had the makeup on at that time. So to see them without makeup was very big for us. That's them. That's got to be Gene. That's got to be. Well, it was them. It was very very cool. It was our little world that because we had this little thing like nobody else knew about. We can meet Kiss when we wanted to. When we found out, Tommy had some kind of inside information with the management or somebody there that he found out when they were going to have a meeting. So he would call me, "Let's go down. They're going to be there today." And we go downtown, and let me tell you, man, after a while, these guys they were great and answer every question we had. They were always great to us. But they started to know, like Gene even says it to this day. He remembers those days and says, he would just say as he's writing his 100th autograph to me, "Frank Bello, what are you doing here today? How did you get here?" And he would just,
Yeah.
"How did you know? How did you know I'd be here?" And we just tell him, "Well, we just took a guess." Well, it was just a ball, man. It was a
And
good
you
time.
later on in the book, you talk about going down to the studio and walking in, like sort of, bolstering your way into the studio and getting to hear a Kiss song before it was released, which is
Well,
pretty
yeah.
wild as well.
This is just another one of these stories, and there's a lot of these stories just for everybody watching out there and listening. There's a lot of these stories that are straight from my heart. There's another one of these that we found out. Well, my friend Tom found out. He called me up. They're going to be at this Right Track studio in the city. It's a famous recording studio in the city. Anthrax has actually worked there. It's great. Um, so of course I'm in. I'm going. So I go with Tommy. We get to the front of the studio. Tom and look, we're kids at this age. We're what, 14, 15 years old. Tommy wants to go in. I said, Tom, you can't go in. We'll wait here. We'll wait for them to come out or come in. No, I want to go in. He rings the bell. I'm scared shitless, dude. I couldn't believe he actually rang the bell. So there's a camera right there. I'm scared. These people are looking. Kiss is gonna hate us. I'm thinking Kiss is gonna hate us if we do this. We can't barge in. He goes, yes, can I help you? Yeah, we're here to see Gene Simmons. Zzz, they ring us in. My heart dropped. I couldn't believe he opened the door and we were walking in. It was like my feet were walking in molasses. I was so scared walking to the elevator up to this place. So I was like, Tommy, I can't go in. Come on. So elevator door opens. We get in. 2 flights up. Door opens. I would not come out of the elevator. Tommy walked right out. I would not come out. Come on. There's nobody there. You don't see, there's a desk, but there's nobody there. I finally take my step out with Tom. We look up right to the left. I still have this in my memory. It's an amazing memory. So I look over to the left and the wall's blocking whoever's sitting, but you see legs and cowboy boots on like a comforter, like a table, like on the table. So his feet on the table, cowboy boots. We know it's one of the guys. Look around the corner, it's Gene Simmons, right? My heart drops. My stomach has a pit in it. I'm saying he's gonna be so pissed that we're intruding on this. So Gene, he's watching TV. He's watching TV, and he has a plate of cookies. And he has a cookie in his hand, and he looks over and he sees it's us, and his face goes like this, in complete bewilderment. Like, what are you doing here? I can't believe you're here, right? So I'm like, I know the vibe. I want to get out of there. I'm pressing the button already for the elevator. Tommy goes, hey, Gene. Tommy had this great high voice. We didn't reach puberty yet, so it was awesome, right? So he said, hey, Gene, how you doing? And he goes, and Gene's just straight out. He goes, what are you doing here? Straight out with the cookie in his hand. I still envision his face. What are you doing here? He goes, we just want to come say hello and check out the new stuff. They were recording the new record. So Tommy, what is it like? What is it like? He goes, so Gene, to his credit, he's just, no, what are you doing here right now? Don't you see I'm working? How would you like if I come in your house and sit down in your living room while you're doing something? How would you feel about it? And Tommy goes, come on, you come over anytime. Tommy always had an answer. It was quick, right? So Gene at this point kind of gave up, and I couldn't get the elevator going. So Gene he goes, I see him shake his head. He goes, would you like to hear a song? Dude, that was it for me. That was it. We were going to hear a new Kiss song before anybody. He sends us into the engineer, and he says, let them hear Young and Wasted. So he made us hear this song called Young and Wasted, just being mixed. We sat down there, floored. It was a great song. Eric Carr killed it. It was just a great song. I was very psyched. We went in there. The happiest guys in the world. Was jovial. We're floating on cloud 9 at this point. So we come out of there. Gene's still sitting on the couch. Did you like it? We loved it. We couldn't say enough praises. It was awesome and it sounded great. His voice was killer on it. He goes, now, can I get back to work? We were on cloud 9 with him. Thanks so much, Ding. So we just walked down. It was one of those moments in life where your hero doesn't disappoint, right? We literally barged in on that studio to that man who's working, and he didn't have to do that. I think that was a great thing by Gene, and I'll never forget it. That's a kind of great. I mean, that showed me a lot. It showed me how a lot in my professional career now how to be. Don't hold anybody down. Like, no, get out of here. No, he invited us in to a song. Why not? Why not? And it makes total sense. So, and for him to write the forward in my book, Gene Simmons writing the forward to Frank Bello's book. That's it for me, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
and,
lovely. Yeah.
and it's really heartfelt. If you read the forward, Gene doesn't really talk about a lot, the subject that he's talking about, abandonment, about his dad and stuff. So it's really heartfelt, and I thank him for it almost every day. Thank you.
Nice. One of the lines that I wrote down, I'm just going to make sure that I've got it properly
Sure.
here, is that you always say you were born in the wrong time, and you appreciate when people cared about each other more. And that just stuck me because that's very true. I feel like we're a very um, viewing through a lens type of society, and we don't take the time to get in front of people. And COVID has not helped that situation much.
Not at
So
all. And I feel like an old fart even saying this, and that's fine. You know what? Then let it be that way. Because the truth of the matter is, we're all human. I don't care what your political beliefs, whatever it is, man, whatever you believe in. But the older I get, the more I see this, man, is people need to care about one another because this is all we got. This is it, man. And I look at the like even the older movies, which I love. I'm a Turner Classic movie fanatic.
yeah,
Just another way that people related to each other. There's no like it seems like now with social media and everything else, it seems like people are waiting for you to screw up to jump on you. And is that really the way to be? For me, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hop
yeah,
on anybody. I don't want to jump on anybody. I want to talk like this and be human. I don't care what your beliefs are your beliefs. That's cool. I have mine. That's cool. This is how we live. This is America, right? Come
yeah,
on. And this is life. This bigger than that. It's life. Let's I just see this. There's too much harping and people waiting for somebody to fail to jump on it. It's like, wait a second, man. Give the guy a break, because he's human. And I just see a lot of that. And I always say, man, I wish I was born in a better time where people were just more patient with other people and not ready to just pounce. It's like, all right, dude, all right, I screwed up. I'm sorry. Let's move on. And
yeah,
you get to another day. I just hope a little more of that is infused with life soon. That's all.
yeah. Now, I'd known from other interviews that you'd done that your brother was violently killed, and I don't really want you to relive that here.
No,
But you talk a lot about being a Scorsese fan in the book, and I mean, New York and some of the stories that he's
yeah,
done there,
Italian American, yeah.
right? Did you look at those movies differently after Anthony was killed?
Well, after Anthony was killed, I had a hard time watching
Right.
anything with guns. Look, I have no problem with guns. If people want to own, I don't particularly own one right now, but I understand it. So I don't judge anybody for having a gun. But for violent acts and stuff like that, come on, what are we
Yeah.
doing? And it was just a tragedy. It's a tragedy that happens far too often in this world, and it unfortunately happened to my family, myself, and I don't wish that on anybody. The pain, but after the pain, and we say this in the book, after all that horrible, horrible pain, and a lot of people have reached out to me since this from who've had family members murdered. After that pain, if you have to go through, and I hope nobody ever has to go through the court systems, that's a double dose of pain.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
call it. It's a double dose because it exposes it all again. Even if even as you're trying to heal, they expose it all again. It's fucking raw. When I say
Yeah.
raw, you're walking in and you're hearing the whole story done over again, and with the added element of the people who are actually accused of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's just so when I say Scorsese, this was like one of those movies where you see the big court thing. I was in Bronx criminal
Yeah.
court, me and my family. One side was my family and our friends. The other side was uh, the person. How about that? And their friends and family. Fine. It was just a terrible, terrible experience. I still have nightmares about it, and I believe that's part of my rage that I have that I always try to control. Um, it just leaves you bewildered,
Right.
and you don't understand how somebody would do that. Number one, to anybody. Number two, and you really start questioning the justice system and how it works and how many loopholes there are. And I got schooled really fast in how many loopholes there really are to our justice system. And I'm not talking politics because I can give a shit less. It's just about my family that was screwed big time, and
Right.
that's fine. It's all in the book, and I don't want anybody to ever go through that. This was my story. If you're interested in that, I compare it to one of those Scorsese movies that just you're right in the room. It kind of brings you in the room with us, and that's what people have told me who've read this. So it was traumatic, and it's a day-to-day thing. You know, when you have loss in your family, everybody out there could feel this. It's a day-to-day thing. Like, you know, you never really get over it. You just deal with it. That's the way. I take it day to day with the loss of my brother. You know,
Yeah.
that's just the way it goes.
One of the things that I really liked in the book, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, was that, you know, for the first 3 to 4 years that you were in Anthrax, you would come back from tour and you would go to your uncle's deli. You know, you just go right back into the deli. I'm going to go back and work there. And I thought that was kind of charming and certainly speaks to your character.
No, thank you. You know what it is? All I can do is speak truth, and for the love of family. My Uncle Joe, and he was another father figure for me. And I say that, I get a little choked up because he was there for me. He taught me in that deli kind of how to be a man, and what was right, what was wrong, not to take the easy way. My work, he enforced my work ethic because I knew, see, the whole thing with growing up the way I did, I knew I had to work hard for whatever I got. That's the only way to do it, because when you have nothing and you want to get to that next place, you got to dig in, get get your feet on the ground and roll with it, man. And he enforced that with me about how to have a work ethic that was really strong, and how to do things right and put the extra effort in. I think that I'm glad he instilled that in me. He really reinforced it for me, because I had that, because I knew I had to do this.
Right.
And he reinforced it. I'm very, you know, he's still I love my uncle. And that store in the Bronx, Joe's Deli, it was a pleasure to go back to it, because it wasn't the money. Yeah, I needed to kick around money, because in the early days there was no money. You
Yeah.
know, your first record, you tour, there's no money, so you come home and you want spending money. I lived with my grandmother, so the food, thank God, was taken care of, and shelter. But you wanted spending money, go buy albums, stuff like that. So that was my spending money. But the lessons I learned in that deli from my Uncle Joe, and just people coming in, and how to be a people person, that taught me life. It really did. Taught me girls. You know,
Yeah.
that was my dating life started in that deli by people coming in.
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff. You know, a lot of pretty girls came into that deli, so it worked out well. I was right at that point, getting to, going through all the fun man stuff. So it was good. It was a great time. It was a great
Nice.
time, considering where I was. I look at that as a gift. It was a complete gift that came into my life, and it was consistent. The day that deli closed down, it broke my heart, because they sold it for condos. You
Right.
know,
Right.
so that's what. Welcome to life, right?
Yeah. That's happening so much now, more so than it was
Yeah,
back then. So
totally. Yeah, and when I see it now, I can go back there. Even right now, it's 30 minutes from my house. It's just condos in that great area where I grew up. You know, a lot of great things happen in that store, but it is what it is. That's life.
I'm encroaching on your time. I've got that. I'll
No,
finish
you're
off with
not.
a last. Are you sure? I feel
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be a little late. She'll call me, and we'll do a
all
couple
right.
more.
How about we finish off with this year and Anthrax's 40th and your 38th year in the band?
Yeah.
What a milestone. How
Hmm.
much did you have to change your plans because of the pandemic? Because you couldn't host a show. You've got all this wonderful footage that's gone up incrementally, album by album, on Instagram and YouTube, but very different, I'm sure, than what you had originally planned.
You know what? It was hard, because usually we would do a tour, we would do the whole and blow it up big time, but this is what we're doing. You know, we did the live stream, which was awesome, fun, dug deep for the songs. This is life, and again, Anthrax has always been a band that was able to adapt to whatever's given to them, and I think we did that the best way we could. Doing those videos on, if you guys haven't seen it on YouTube, all the videos we put out, um, it shows the history of the band. And you know what? I learned a lot from those videos, because a lot of our friends that are in bands talked about Anthrax and how much it meant to them. And I had no idea. Honestly, I had no idea how much Anthrax meant to a lot of the bands, and even a lot of Keanu Reeves, a lot of famous people just good people in bands and in other arts that came out and really said how much Anthrax meant to them. I didn't realize it, and it felt good. And I learned a lot of stuff from my bandmates that I didn't know how their
Yeah.
take was on it at the time. So it was a lot of fun. So you guys, if you guys haven't looked at the YouTube videos, check them out. You get the whole history of Anthrax in an interesting way.
Anthrax to me has always been the band that smiled. You know, back in those early days, there was Slayer, frowns and devil horns. There was Metallica, frowns and liquor. And there was Megadeth, frowns, you know, just frowns all around. And Anthrax was crazy shorts, you know, freaking Hawaii shirts, big smiles, cartoons on the back of the record covers. That spoke to me. That's what I was into, and that's why I've liked the band for as long as I
Thanks.
have.
And it's just being honest. Look, I'm lucky enough to do this for a living, on stage, playing in front of a lot of friends out there. What's not to be happy about? That's the way I look at it. Yeah, the music's heavy and I'm fucking aggressive, all that stuff, but I'm having the best fucking time doing it. And that's the God's honest truth. So if a smile comes out of my face, I'm sorry that because I'm fucking thankful for doing this shit. And maybe it's just coming out that way. I can bang my head, yeah, and it'll be I'm in a brutal mood, but you know what? I'm having a great fucking time doing it. And that's what I want people out there to feel. So
Cool, man. Here, I'll just stop the recording.